What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Tuesday. I hope that everyone is enjoying their day. But anywho, let's get into the hot topics. Now let's talk about Sarah Silverman. So recently, Sarah Silverman got very honest with Rolling Stone on how her brother Jeffrey passed away. Well, Sarah Silverman got to say it all by saying that her brother Jeffrey passed away because he got killed by their own grandfather when Jeffrey was only 3 months old. And Sarah's father and also Jeffrey's father got to confess to Sarah just 3 years ago, and Sarah shows that Jeffrey got to pass away because their grandfather ended up killing Jeffrey in a rage. Okay, and Jeffrey was only 3 months old at the time. And when Sarah found out by Donald, Sarah was very nervous and she was like, oh my God, well, I can't believe that I am barely finding out about this, especially because it was also being revealed by Sarah herself that she barely found out after so many years of being lied to on how her brother passed away. Now, I personally believe that it was really shady and it was really awful that her own father was lying to Sarah all these years on how Jeffrey passed away instead of being honest on how Jeffrey passed away, because I feel like Sarah deserved the truth this whole entire time, even though it was really intense on how it happened. And I believe that since Donald was covering up for his own father, which happened to be the grandfather of both Jeffrey and Sarah, I believe that, in my opinion, Donald should actually take accountability for all of this and responsibility for all of this, because in my opinion, I feel like he's kind of somewhat of an accomplice for knowing on what happened and not saying the truth of it all, especially if Donald did not go off and report it to the police, because I mean, this is definitely a true assassination here. This is definitely a true horrible thing what happened here with Sarah's brother. I also believe, though, that it's also really weird how Donald was literally like, oh my God, well, I might as well just tell her just now that she is a grown-ass woman, instead of, telling her when she was a teenager or telling her when she was a child at least, so that way Sarah could actually be like, okay, well, now I know who to be careful from. I should be careful from my own grandfather because my own grandfather ended up killing my own brother when my own brother was only 3 months old, and God forbid that my own grandfather ends up killing me too. So it's also a precaution thing as to why I feel like Sarah's father and Jeffrey's father should have actually told Sarah on what actually happened in between Sarah and Jeffrey's grandfather and Jeffrey back when he ended up killing Jeffrey, but this is really insane, man. This is definitely insane. And what's even more insane is that Donald ended up passing away just a year after he confessed to Sarah that their own grandfather ended up killing Jeffrey. So, man, this is like something that should be in a horror movie. And I'm not saying it to be joking around. I'm saying it because this is just so horrific in all levels. Like, what type of family member goes off and lies to you throughout your whole entire life on how your brother passed away and then barely tells you about it when you are grown, and then later on is then basically they are covering up the person that was behind the whole entire death of it all. Like, that is just so straight up evil. It's just so straight up slimy. It's just so straight up ridiculous in all levels. So anywho, I think that Sarah Silverman is a very strong woman for telling us this on an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, and for not keeping her mouth shut, because it really takes a lot of guts to actually say it all in an interview and to not be shying away from it, because this is definitely a very delicate situation. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people out there don't want to be saying stuff like this to their moms, to their dads, to whoever it is, because of how delicate it is. But at the end of the day, we the people, we deserve to know on who to take care of and who to be careful from. Okay, so anywho, Sarah Silverman, you have guts, and that's all I have to say about this. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Justin Bieber. So Justin Bieber is making a head-turning admission. He claims he once told Hailey she'd never be on the cover of Vogue during a huge fight, as she now graces the magazine's summer cover. Alright, so according to TMZ, the Biebs made the candid confession on Instagram alongside a pic of the model's new spread while apologizing for his hurtful words. Okay, so he says he told her she'd never land the front spot on Vogue, which they did together in 2019 because he felt so disrespected during their argument and wanted to get even. Alright, so he now realizes that was completely childish, noting, "I think as we mature, we realize that we're not helping anything by getting even. We're honestly just prolonging what we really want, which is intimacy and connection." Okay, so he signed off by speaking directly to his better half, writing, "So baby, you already know, but forgive me for saying you wouldn't get a Vogue cover, cause clearly I was sadly mistaken." Okay, so some things are better left unsaid, and this might be one of them, but hey, at least he owned up to his mistakes, and this is all according to TMZ. So this is really insane that Justin Bieber completely confessed that he got into an argument with Hailey Bieber not so long ago, which caused Justin Bieber to down talk towards Hailey Bieber and telling her that she would never end up in the cover of Vogue magazine. Because even though they both got into an argument, I don't think that Justin Bieber had any right to be saying those things to Hailey Bieber, because he basically was down talking to her. He basically was being mean and rude to her by saying that, when in reality Hailey Bieber is a beautiful woman that can be in the cover of whatever magazine, and that will make it in any other cover of any magazine, just like she did on Vogue recently. And hey, I think that at the end of the day, I'm glad that Justin Bieber got to accept his own mistakes and apologize, and he didn't turn up to be the typical narcissist by basically saying, "Oh yeah, I was right. Oh yeah, she deserved it. Oh this and this." No. Okay, and I think that in life, when you are accepting your own mistakes, just like what Justin Bieber did, for example, that is when you go further, not just with yourself, but also with your own marriage. And that is the reason to why Hailey and Justin are still married to this day, despite the differences. Okay, and what I also believe is, yes, Justin Bieber and Hailey, they were having a really tumbly differences recently, like last year, I believe, because I believe that last year things were getting very off between the both of them, to the point that there was already rumors going around that Justin and Hailey are on the road to divorce. But yet again, they were finding a way to actually fix their differences. And I believe that since they found a way, now they are stronger than ever. And they're not just doing it for their own marriage, they're also doing it for the child that they have. They're thinking about that child so much, and I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, the child really needs them. And the child does not need to be witnessing any drama, any feud by their parents. All right. But I do personally think that Hailey Bieber still is affected by the words that Justin Bieber told Hailey Bieber about not being able to make it on Vogue magazine. Because yes, Justin Bieber got to apologize to Hailey, but yet again, it'll be reliving in Hailey Bieber's brain for the next 10 years, 20 years, that she'll never make it to Vogue magazine, and that she is, not good enough for Justin, and this and that. It'll definitely go through her head, and that's really sad. I mean, even though Hailey already got featured on Vogue magazine recently, because yet again, a person's hurtful words really gets to affect us emotionally. So we as people, we really need to be careful with what we're saying to people, especially to our own spouses. Now that also applies to Justin Bieber. All right, now on to the next topic. So this past weekend, we unfortunately found out that our former president, Joe Biden, got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it happens to be a pretty aggressive one. All right, so anyways, the former president's personal office announced the diagnosis on Sunday in a statement posted on social media saying he has prostate cancer and it has spread to his bones. So the statement reads, last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. And then on Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis to the bone. Okay, so it continues, while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. All right, so this is really insane. I really pray for Joe Biden that he gets to make it out of this, because cancer is no joke. And Joe Biden is already 82 years old, and unfortunately there have been so many people, especially people around Joe Biden's age and in Joe Biden's age, that have passed away due to cancer. We need to just pray. We need to hope that Joe Biden gets to survive. He is a really good man. He is a really good-hearted person that really cares about not just himself, but also about everyone else. And I also feel bad for Hunter Biden, for Jill Biden, because I know that this is also affecting them. And I really think that, Joe Biden, I'm pretty sure, is in really good spirits, because he doesn't seem like he is really, sad about it. He doesn't seem like he's really worried to the fullest about it, because he just, wrote it on his social media too, I believe, that he was, going through this, and that he was like, okay, well, I'm going through this, but I'm not going to be keeping down my spirits. I'm going to continue to keep up my spirits, because that's the best thing that I can do. And honestly, he was just on The View, 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, and he was talking just fine. He was getting along with the ladies just fine. It didn't seem like he was really into anything going on, and he was talking like a normal person. So with all of that being said, I think that there could be chances that he can be surviving from all of this. And it is rumored to be a stage 4 cancer, by the way. But since this is hormonal sensitive and this could be treated, there are high chances, like I said, that he can get completely cured from this, hopefully, and that he will not be bothered by this anymore, hopefully, by the love of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay. So anyways, Joe Biden, my prayers, my heart goes out to you, and that is all I have to say about this. Now, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.